All right, so I'm Daryl. Good afternoon today. And I think today's topic is something that I hold really close to because in working in the VC space, I think the intersection of AI and blockchain is something that we sincerely believe in. And so, I think today I'm now grateful to have esteemed panelists to really, help me answer some of the questions that I have. So before we get started, perhaps we can get an introduction from everyone. Let's start with you, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, really great to be at GM Vietnam. My first time in Vietnam, so actually second time in Vietnam, but super jet lagged as you can tell. So I'm Michael, co-founder and CEO of Zero G. At Zero G, we're building the largest AI layer 1. And so really excited about the discussion that's going to ensue about the future of AI and blockchains, why they make sense and so on. So we're one of the first, for example, to train a 107 billion parameter model in a fully decentralized context. That was thought to not be possible before. The biggest run before that was about 10 billion parameters. So we're making progress along that way. Just very quick background on myself as well. I started on the technology end at Microsoft and then switched over more to the business end, worked for Bain & Company, Bridgewater Associates as well. And then I started a Y Combinator-backed unicorn company before starting Zero G Labs.
Wow, impressive.
DB?
Hello. Basically, I think I'm the only Vietnamese in this panel. So I would say, welcome to Vietnam to all of you. Hope you come here more. So I'm the co-founder of Whole Station, was on the stage yesterday, and sponsor for GM Vietnam for 2 years, Vietnam Tech Weeks, 1 year, so almost 3 years. We do wallets, a bit of perp decks, and our wallet is going to more on the AI agent space. And globally, also in Vietnam, we are kind of very proud on our branding. It's top 1 right now.
Vivian?
My name is Vivian Ling. I'm the Chief Product Officer at BingX. BingX is an exchange that we provide spot, derivative, copy trading, and all those kind of trading services. And now I'm also heading the BingX Labs. This is the investment vehicle under BingX Group. From this year, we actually launched a AI strategy that called BingX. We are commit $300 million in the following 3 years to support AI-driven product innovation and AI project combined with Web3 applications. Yeah, so I'm very glad to be here and sitting with all of you to discuss how AI and blockchain technology can work together.
Mark?
Great. Hi, thank you, Daryl. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Henry Saft. I'm the Global Business Development Director for AID, which is the next generation AI-powered DeFi infrastructure company. So AI is at the heart of everything that AID does, and so is DeFi for that matter. We've developed an integrated ecosystem kind of across the board. We have a data aggregation component to the solution, which is looking, for example, at 500 terabits of data at any one time. Over 3 million smart contracts are continuously analyzed. We have developed a social finance component to the ecosystem, as well as we're developing our own decentralized exchange. And we've got a DeFi protocol that we've developed, which is for lossless staking. Pretty exciting. So basically it optimizes yields for people who choose to stake their capital. And it does so in such a way that they can't lose their capital.
All right, so I think it seems like we have a diverse background. Now, in my view, I've always seen AI and blockchain intersection is most, I would say leaning towards more on the data privacy side. And I'm sure all of you have different ideas on, the enhancement that AI and blockchain can do for each other itself. But perhaps I can kind of ask one example you could give me on, how AI could improve blockchain or vice versa. Maybe we can start with you, Mark.
Well, thank you, Daryl. So AI, again, it's at the heart of everything we do. And, AI is so adaptable, right? And it can make intelligent decisions, whereas blockchains don't really. They're very deterministic, right? So the great thing about a blockchain is that it's transparent, but when you combine the two, you get something really powerful, right? Because of the adaptability and the inherent intelligent decision-making capabilities of AI, combined with blockchain's transparency, you can create a very powerful, virtuous cycle where you are creating an ecosystem that empowers the users in a way that you won't get in a in a centralized database.
Right. So it kind of seems like, AI algorithms could improve through like decentralized database. I think that's kind of like one example you've given. What about you, Vivian?
From my point of view, we've been exploring how can we combine the decentralized technology, blockchain technology with AI, because like AI, as just said, AI is so powerful. But before answering this question, we need to figure out what is the strength between, for these two respective aspects. For blockchain technology, it is immutable, traceable, and as said, it's transparent. And for AI, I think one of the biggest strengths, the strongest strengths for this technology is its capability to process a large volume of data in almost real time.
Yeah.
So because like we're running exchange, so from exchange perspective, this give us a tremendous opportunity to really enhance our risk management system. That like before AI, a mechanism that can handle all this large sum of data, we have to pull out the data online, and then we need to try our best to do machine learning, deep learning, all those data in-house to figure out what is the malicious activity, what is the characteristic of those activities. But now with AI, we deploy AI to our risk management system since last year. This is the first real application internally, in terms of what we really using AI technology. We find it's extremely efficient because when we feed the model several, directional trend, it will have their own way to think about what is the what is the characteristic, what is label I need to give to different user and different activity. And on one side, it helps us to increase our so-called database at very short period of time. On the other hand, it also gives us a hint from machine perspective how you should read all your data. So I think when these two technology interact with each other, it's just have a very different result.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. You're mentioning that you're not just training the model, you're actually relying on the model to help you rate.
We interact with the model. Yes.
Right. So the model tells you how it does its rating classifications from a risk management perspective.
Yes, and there's a lot of example within BingX. For example, we do product analytics using AI, because we find if you're looking around browsing the website, there are so many products out there with human almost impossible to compare the features of different products, but AI just click and one go.
Right.
Yeah,
so
doing in one afternoon.
Product recommendation, kind of like how you're doing in e-commerce itself.
Yes.
Interesting. What about you, TV? Yeah.
I got a good perspective about AI, and I shared that I think last year as well in this conference. And basically, the merging between AI and blockchains is the future, right? And it's not next few years; it's actually now. And give you a few examples. Now, sometimes I go shopping. I'm not actually find the items by myself anymore. I actually I like your shirt, then I take photo of your shirt, and then I put online. Then the AI will recommend and find me the source. Where can I buy it? How much I have to pay for it? And then what? Blockchain is gonna be involved in the settlement layer. Blockchain is for transparency, for payment. And if you want to buy that shirt with like $100, then you can actually like using blockchains as the payment. And I think like Circle at the moment, they are working with like Shopify in order to provide these services to the end clients. So people say that, okay, blockchains might be, people come, they for investment, but like the main purpose of blockchains, I think is for payment, and with payments plus the AI, then the blockchains and AI is a big acquisition.
All right, I think you have an example of use case, but we're going to talk about that later on because we've mentioned it earlier on today. What about you, Michael? I mean, you've run accelerators, you've run a huge ecosystem yourself. What are some of the great examples you've seen?
Yeah, I'll start kind of from the top. So you can think of AI as intelligence, effectively, and as blockchains as a coordination mechanism. So AI is making the marginal cost of intelligence go towards zero, effectively. And then blockchains, the same for coordination. The marginal cost of coordination between different parties who you don't need to trust is going towards zero. So that's the kind of core purpose, and that's what they can contribute to each other. So AI effectively can automate 70% plus of what human beings do, maybe more in the future with robotics and so on. And so you can see that there's going to be huge impact from the blockchain side on both the application layer as well as things like the consensus layer. On the application layer, it's pretty clear. You have AI agents that can do trades for you. You have AI agents that connect with other AI agents, do shopping type of examples, payment type of examples, anything that involves around coordination. Things like looking for a Starbucks around the corner, order a drink for you so that you can pick it up on your way to work, for example. So all of those types of use cases, they're going to start being automated by AI. And then at the consensus layer, you can do things like, for example, proof of useful work. Why waste computation when there's an inference request coming in from AI? That inference request can then be used to power the consensus piece as well. That's known as proof of useful work. So we'll start seeing some of that in the future as well, being impacted. Now, the other way around, and what's often not spoken about, is that current centralized AI systems are black box systems. You don't know where the data came from, who labeled the data, what was happening to the data in training, which version of the model that you're getting, is the AI agent misbehaving? You don't know any of that. You're trusting a centralized authority to do all of that for you. So blockchains can basically add a layer of verification and ownership as well. The verification basically tells me something was done, and it was done according to what I expected. Whether that's this particular model was run on this particular graphics card is quite important, because when you start using AI in societal level applications, let's say AI starts running an airport, you better want to know which version of a model it's running, because that could be the difference between an airplane crashing into one another or successfully taking off. So verification becomes very, very important at societal level use cases. Not as important on what happens if you order the wrong pizza, small outcome. You ordered Hawaiian pizza, but you got a vegetarian pizza. Okay, so big deal. But when lives are at stake, much, much bigger deal. So that's really key. And then the ownership piece is also important, because centralized black box AI companies imagine a world where everything's going to be fine and you have universal basic income from the government, and then everybody's just sitting back and enjoying themselves. Well, there's an alternative perspective. What if you can actually own a piece of these models yourself? What if every time there's an inference request, you provided some data for it, you get compensated in tokens? A very different view of the world, one where you're a participant in AI versus taking a backseat, a bystander. And we have many kind of protocols building on our chain that are working on different elements of that, whether it's at the privacy layer, like Beacon Protocol, or it's at the liquidity layer, like Jane, which is combining an AMM DEX together with a perp DEX. There's many different aspects to the use cases we can talk about.
Is there a particular use case that you've seen yourself or even applied within Zero Gravity?
I mean, there's so many. You can start at decentralized federated learning, for example. Let's say you want a hospital chain in the US to work with a hospital chain in Vietnam and China, and you don't want to share any of the data, but you want to train a model to figure out how to diagnose a specific cancer. Well, you can do that through decentralized federated learning, where everything is encrypted and nobody knows about the source data, so you can keep that secure, but then create a model that then becomes a public good for society. So blockchains can add that to AI effectively. So I really like these types of use cases. So there's some that are building like that. There's other use cases too where, for example, you can use token-based incentives to get user data. That's a huge problem in AI because oftentimes these models depend on a lot of data. So one of my friends was running a medical diagnostics company, and they were trying to identify different diseases from taking basically the iPhone camera on top of the tip of the finger, and then see from there if there's any disease diagnosis possible. The biggest issue they ran into is they didn't have enough data. That can be solved through token-based incentives. And so if you have millions of data points that way, then you can actually start doing some really interesting diagnostic use cases. So I love use cases like that enable things that weren't possible before. And then the final one that I'm also excited about is actually enabling everybody to contribute their GPU power to train models. Because theoretically, it's possible to train significantly larger models than are currently available in a decentralized context. So imagine millions, even hundreds of millions of consumer GPU devices contributing to trillion parameter models. All of a sudden, we're much, much closer to superintelligence than we thought.
I think you've touched on something that I really like, which is improving AI models through training and decentralized storage of data itself. We're going to touch on that later on. TV. I think earlier you kind of mentioned as well, one of the applications for you is the intersection between, DeFi, payments, and AI. Would you kind of share more about it? I remember you talking about, AI finance, right? Yeah.
Yes. So very good to share because I'm doing testing a lot, and I actually, testing it myself. I code some vibe coding some games for my kid to play, too. But AI finance is super important, and we're actually testing a lot in whole station itself. Examples like right now we got some of the AI agents to actually support on payment a bit on the on-ramp and off-ramps of Vietnam dongs to stablecoin. So and basically it's save a lot of time, save very convenient, and reduce the time. Example, when you do a P2P or whatever, it takes around 5 minutes, 15 minutes. But with these new technologies, then it's reduced to less than 5 seconds. So if that's more than actually less than 3 seconds, 5 seconds is already delayed. And it's actually applicable for every single one, and it's mass adoptions because everyone use GPT right now. Probably similar more than you use Google. For this AI finance, it's helping you a lot. Examples another example is through Grok, one of the best AI tools on X, and they for the newspaper right now they are a little bit slow comparing to when you got the update on the news. You go through social media is way faster, and X Grok is one of the best use case where they actually social listening the whole X ecosystem. That's give you more signal or some trends happening way faster than when you want to update on the news. So I think those AI finance we will relate it to these area as well, and as whole stations we develop a lot on those AI agents and also social listening AIs on this aspect. Yeah.
That's interesting. So basically it's kind of I just insert a prompt and it basically does my bank telegraphic transfer.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit more advanced because the touch between user and the apps is to push notification.
Right.
So it's actually push direct to your apps and say, okay, this is new things. You wanna test out or not? Something like that.
Okay, so it's kind of you have integration with the banking API down to the payment rails itself with stable network, and then that's kind of how you integrate everything itself. So from a user perspective, it's just typing in I want to transfer VND.
Yeah, basically you just like to talk to your friends, and everything is processing, either settlement layer or even checking balance and process. Everything is AI doing that through APIs and banking rails and stuff.
Yeah, do share more. So Vivian, I know you kind of mentioned a little bit on the application side earlier. You've mentioned about how you've done it on a risk management perspective, from a product recommendation perspective. Is there anything that BingX is doing that perhaps the user side is going to experience with AI and blockchain?
BingX started to invest in AI-related application and AI research since last year. When we first saw the first version of GPT release, we're actually very excited because there's a lot of long-standing challenges in this industry. For example, the entry barrier for normal users is very high. Nobody's, just a rare group of people knows what is a blockchain technology, what is zero knowledge, zero proof, right? All those jargons can easily scare people away. So from exchange perspective, because our mission is to bridge the digital asset to the normal users. So for us, it's always our mission to lower the entry barrier for people who want to participate in this industry. So first challenge is how can we help our user to figure out what the information they need to know, what kind of learning material, education material they need to read. In the past, that's really challenging. And I think not only BingX, the whole industry include a lot of resource in education, but still people feel they lack of the right direction, right guidance in this industry. But now with our first AI assistant, BingX AI assistant, up and launched, I think 2 months ago. And it received overwhelming welcome from our user, because now when you go to our website, for example, you stay on Sui web page, the site, and there is an assistant say, hey, what is Sui project? What is strengths? What is the price range? And it will auto pump the information it thinks you want to know. And how can it know what kind of information you want to know? It will analyze your trading history. It will analyze on which site, on which pair you stay for longer time. And it will analyze your because we deploy a private AI server, so we can use our internal private data together with the public data to combine and give a prediction or indication of what kind of information need to push to what kind of group of user. So now people at our website, in our app, they don't need to worry about, they don't know, we have hundreds of tools out there. They need to write guidance of what is right to them to use, right? Whether you are a greener, the newcomer, or you're very experienced or a professional, your needs actually quite different. So AI knows you better than yourself sometimes. So this is the basic application use case on BingX. And in the future, pretty much as what we just said in the bank or in the financial side, is that when you go onto our website or app, all you need to do is to interact with the AI assistant. And you say, hey, you go to buy a coin for me, and you go to deposit for me, and it will just do what, as you just said. You don't need to remember where's the web page for wealth management, right? So it will be just transit and fundamentally change how people interact with the app, no matter it is exchange, project, or e-commerce.
All right. But I'm not sure about the data privacy, though. But we'll touch on that topic later on, because it seems like you're sharing a lot of clients' data itself. What about you, Mark? What's perhaps one application that you guys have, what you guys are doing right now that has the intersection of AI and blockchain and application?
Everything we do is at the intersection of AI and blockchain. So thank you for the question. I really liked Vivian's answer and what you were saying about your AI, basically giving a lot of intelligent advice and knowing the user's behaviors, maybe even better than they do. We're doing the same thing. So it is incredible. We've got the data aggregation layer, as I mentioned before, and it's just bigger than any brain can handle, right? Who can stay on top of 500 terabytes of data and 3 million smart contracts? No one can, right? But the data aggregation layer tracks the trends in TVL across 12 different chains, right? So you can see yield, and it's quick. With just a touch of a button, you can see from highest to lowest right there, you know, across any chain. We've got a product called Eagle Eye, which is tracking all this data, and then it shows you the top 100 wallets that are on any chain, right? Whether it's a Whales wallet or a centralized exchanges wallet. And that's important because you can see what people are doing in the DeFi space, right? Are they buying? Are they selling? What are they buying? What are they selling? This kind of thing. Very, very powerful. For the DeFi protocol, as I mentioned, we built this lossless cycle restaking mechanism, or LCR, and essentially what that means is when one is, like Vivian was saying, there's so many tools and it's so fragmented and it takes so much time for people to, you know, if you're in the DeFi space and you're not like a full-time professional, you know, 10, 12 hours a day trader, investor, then it's confusing, you know, and people lose money because they don't know what they're doing, or the trade takes too long, you know. And so recognizing that, we've really put a lot of time and energy into simplifying things, right? So it's very advanced tools that we've created under a hood, if you will, that everybody can drive that car, right? It's simple to use, is what I'm trying to convey.
All right, so it seems like for you simplifying AI and blockchain. Now, I think, Michael, we talked about this earlier, right? You talked about improving AI models through training and data sharing, right? My, position has always been that from a blockchain perspective, it's just the tokenomics or the token economy that's powering it. Because I see it differently, that the encryption layer, ZK, MPC, FHE, is more of encryption than blockchain. That's my perspective. What's your perspective on that when it comes down to, because you mentioned about how blockchain can help with the data sharing part of training AI models. So how do you see that application being done? Because for me, it's just the tokenomics, yeah.
Well, there's a lot more at stake there. So for example, we wrote a research paper attacking centralized federated learning. So even the best security methodology called scaffold had an issue. We were able to attack it and basically inject poison data. So we can completely bias models doing that. But through decentralized rails and verification, that can't happen. And so by having decentralized federated learning, you're in effect preventing this data poisoning issue. So this data poisoning issue can be really benign. So for example, I don't know, I'm Nike and I want to bias all models to say, like, whenever sports comes up, like a Nike commercial comes up. That's a type of data poisoning. Or it could be more nefarious, where basically you try to manipulate a country's political beliefs, for example, by injecting a lot of poison data like that into the model training. And so how can we know that we can trust something without verifying it? Again, I come back to this point. That's why blockchains exist for AI. And so that's where that intersection makes a lot of sense. So that's just to talk about that. Then the other point I'll make is, where does most of the data lie? It's not on the internet. That's only the tip of the iceberg. That's maybe 1% of the publicly available data is maybe 1% of all data in existence. 99% lives on servers, and like JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley servers and many other tech company servers. How do we then ensure that these different actors work together and then train the models together so that we can have better models for a better human society? And again, blockchain can serve as the coordination layer to do that.
All right, so it's more about the security side and the verifiability of the data itself, because you can basically provide trash and it's going to give you trash results, right?
Exactly, yeah, that's well put.
Okay, all right, I just noticed that we're going to be soon out of time, so perhaps I'm going to wrap this up with just one final question for everybody. What is one action perhaps that you can suggest to industries to take up to maximize the potential of AI and blockchain? Perhaps we can start with Mark.
Sure, thanks, Daryl. I think the answer is just whatever industry you're in, whether you're in gaming, healthcare, tech, doesn't matter. Whatever you do, jump in now. You know, the tools are out there, and the key is just integrating data and blockchain with AI in meaningful ways. So whatever that is for your business, figure it out and start doing it, because now is the time, now is the opportunity. Don't get left behind.
All right, so Mark, it's start now. Vivian.
Pretty much similar. I think this is a golden time for whoever is interested in AI-related product, server, or whatever you want. The only thing is like think deep. What people really need, what you can do with AI, how you leverage AI's capability to realize the dreams that you never ever could think about.
TB?
I got one inspiration actually, because got one kid. He's only like 13 years old, and now he's coding AI and he's viral in all Vietnam. And he's actually like, got the speaking slot at the end of today. So his name is Nam Long. So he's very young and he start looking for AI and he's vibe coding. He do a lot of things. So why not us? Test it, use it. I actually like do it every single day, update every single new AI agent I can do. And I actually got a few of like automate TikTok channel, and somehow it's got a bit viral. So, and it's opening to everyone. So start and using it, leverage it, and learn about it. You can self-learning it.
Right, so it seems like for TVs, democratizing access to AI empowers people, right? What about you?
I love that. Everybody should be a vibe coder these days. So go and build something over the weekend. From my perspective is if you care about AI being a public good and serving and being safe, serving human beings as needs long term, there's really no better place to deploy than 0G. So the easiest way to find out more about us is just to go to our website. All the socials are on there. All the ways to contact us are there. It's just 0g.ai. So 2 letters, 0g.ai. Actually a numeral on the letter, but yeah, excited to connect with all of you. Thank you.
All right, so I'm sure everybody here in the crowd would like to hear more, but feel free to kind of reach out to our esteemed panelists right after this itself. So thank you so much, and thank you once again. Please give a round of applause to our panelists.